Hello and welcome to my channel. In this tutorial I wanted to show you a stitch, a very easy stitch. You can do a blouse, a table runner, you can do so many things with this summer stitch. It's a little bit open, you might have to try with a thicker yarn. This is a sample that I did with 2.5 millimeter crochet hook. Now I'm gonna work with 3.0 millimeter crochet hook, and this stitch works with multiples of 4. So I chain here multiples of 4. We're gonna skip the first 4 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the 5th chain in there we're gonna do a double crochet, and this row is gonna be double crochet in each chain until you finish this row. So move to the next chain, double crochet, next chain, double crochet, and so on. It's a very easy stitch. Like I said, you can do so many things with this. This looks like a flower or like a cross. It's a very easy, fast going stitch. But I will have to tell you, those of you that you don't like a stitch that has many rows repeat, maybe this one is not going to be for you. This stitch has, let's say, 3 rows repeat, but the rows are very, very easy. So we're going to do double crochet in each chain until we finish this this row. Well, for a baby blanket for summer, maybe with medium size yarn, that will be nice. I'm using now cotton yarn for this sample that I'm working with you now. So it's a little bit stern and rigid, so that's why I said maybe for a table runner with sturdy cotton will be quite nice. So last chain, double crochet. So the first row is gonna be double crochet. Okay, now we're gonna chain 2, second row. So now into the next stitch we're gonna do a double crochet, chain 2, and now in here where we have 2 lines here, so we're gonna go in there like on top of the where you did those 2 chains. Yeah, so you're gonna go through those 2 lines, you're gonna pull up a loop, you're gonna do a double crochet without finishing, leave the loop there, and you're gonna go back again to do a second double crochet through those 2 lines. You're gonna have 3 loops on your hook, pull the yarn through all 3 loops, and now we're gonna skip the next stitch, and into the next stitch we're gonna do a double crochet without finishing. You're gonna move to the next stitch, double crochet without finishing, so we have 3 loops now. Yarn over the hook, move to the next stitch, which is the 3rd one, so we did 3 double crochets without finishing them. Yeah, so now 4 loops on the hook, pull the yarn through all 4 loops, and now we're gonna chain 2, 1 and 2, and now where you have a line here on top of these lines, you have one right there, you see that one. So we're gonna do 2 double crochet and finish them. Don't finish the double crochet. So you're gonna have 3 loops on your hook, pull the yarn through all 3 loops. So now you're gonna move to the next, which we skip 1 stitch, and into the next stitch we're gonna do a double crochet unfinished, so skip 1, and into the next 3 stitches we're gonna put in there, in each a double crochet unfinished. So skip the next stitch and into the next we're gonna do a double crochet without finishing it, move to the next stitch, double crochet, move to the next stitch. You have 4 loops on your hook, pull the yarn through all 4 loops, then you're gonna chain 2, and when you chain 2 is this line here that you're gonna go through. So when you chain this one, you're gonna go straight into that line there. So I will suggest you, when you chain that first one, make it a little bit loose that you can go in with no problem. So you go again for the second. So you have 3 loops. So you did 2 double crochet and finished them, unfinished double crochets. So now you're gonna move to the next. So you're gonna skip the next stitch, and into the next 3 you're gonna do double crochets. So you're gonna skip 1 stitch, skip, and into the next double crochet without finishing them, next stitch, double crochet, next stitch, double crochet, 4 loops on the hook, pull the yarn through all 4 loops, then chain 2. So where you have that space between this line and this hook, this loop, you're gonna go in there and you're gonna put 2 unfinished double crochets. So we're gonna do first and go back again for the second. 3 loops, pull the yarn through all 3 loops. It's gonna look in the beginning like this, not much of it. Okay, now you're gonna skip the next stitch, and into the next 3 we're gonna do double crochets. So skip 1 and into the next, double crochet without finishing, move to the next stitch, double crochet, next stitch, double crochet without finishing the double crochet, 4 loops, pull the yarn through all 4 loops, chain 2, and now we're gonna go on top of all those 3 double crochet unfinished that we closed in, and we're gonna do 2 unfinished double crochets through that. And now at the end here we're gonna skip the next stitch and into the next, which is the last double crochet, and then we have the chain. So skip the next stitch and move to the next, the last double crochet of the row, do a double crochet, and on top of the chain at the end here we're gonna do a double crochet. So you're always going to finish with 2 double crochets when you're going to do these rows. So pull the yarn. Oh, what did I do? Yeah. Okay, now we're going to chain 2, turn your work, and now the 3rd row. So you have the first with a double crochet, this one, the second, and now the 3rd one. So the next stitch here, double crochet, chain 1, and between this you have this stitch here where we close those 3 double crochet unfinished double crochets. So through that stitch on top there, in here, we're going to put in there 3 double crochets, but this time we're going to finish the double crochet. Go back for the 2nd double crochet and the 3rd, chain 1, you're gonna skip this and you're gonna move to the stitch in between, the stitch between these 2. So the stitch is right there, in which you're gonna put 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and the 3rd one, chain 1, and you move to the next, skip this, and the stitch is right here, 3 double crochets. It's a very easy stitch. It's just you have to remember when to chain one after the row with the 3 double crochets, and which one is you're not gonna chain anything. So skip this, and the next, it's right here, 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and the third one. You're gonna chain 1, and at the end here, between this and the chain, you have at the base of this, you have 2 loops in there. Yeah, you have 2 loops, so you're gonna pick them up. You see, these 2 between that cluster and this 2 double crochet, the chain and double crochet. So you're gonna do in there 2 double crochets. So it's gonna look like this. Now you're gonna chain 2, and now you're gonna repeat the first row with a double crochet. So you have the first stitch here. You're gonna go through the stitch, double crochet, then the space between these 3 double crochet, the cluster of 3 double crochet, and these 2, you have a space here in which you chain 1 between the clusters of 3 double crochet. So you're gonna go into that space and you're gonna do a double crochet, and then in each stitch of these double crochets you're gonna put a double crochet in each. This is like separation between the rows, the set of rows, and will look nice, especially if you try to, how do you say, to change colors with this stitch. Will look nice if you change colors with this, or you have variegated yarn. Well, cotton doesn't slide so easy between my fingers when than acrylic. So you have a space here, so in that space you're gonna do a double crochet, because you chain 1 between the sets of 3 double crochet. So now in each stitch of these 3 double crochets you're gonna put a double crochet. So now you have the space with that 1 chain space. You're gonna do a double crochet, and then you're gonna go to the stitches and you're gonna put in there in each stitch a double crochet. And the space, double crochet in there, and then you're gonna do the, in each stitch of these double crochets you're gonna put double crochet. Well, it's not difficult, this stitch, but until you get the gist of this one, you have to make an effort to remember the rows. So the space, I'm gonna go into that space and do a double crochet, and now we have a double crochet and the chain 2. So you're gonna go through the double crochet stitch there, double crochet, and on top of the second chain there you're gonna do a double crochet, and then you're gonna chain 2, and you're gonna repeat the second row, in which you're gonna do the next stitch, double crochet, you're gonna chain 2, and in these 2 lines here, these 2, you're gonna do 2 unfinished double crochets. Go for the second. You have 3 loops, pull the yarn through all 3 loops. Then you're gonna skip the next stitch, and into the next 3 you're gonna do double unfinished double crochet. So 1, so you skipped 1 stitch, into the next double crochet. So skip 1, and into the next double crochet, unfinished, move to the next stitch, double crochet, next stitch, double crochet. 4 loops on the hook, pull the yarn through all 4 loops, and then you're gonna chain 2, and in this line right here, that one, you're gonna do 2 unfinished double crochets. Go back through that line, 3 loops, pull the yarn through all 3 loops. Then you're gonna skip 1 stitch, and into the next 3 we're gonna work. So skip 1 and into the next, double crochet, next stitch, double crochet, and the next stitch, double crochet. 4 loops, pull the yarn through all 4 loops, chain 2, and now through that line on top of where you close those 3 unfinished double crochet, you're gonna do 2 unfinished double crochets. 3 loops, pull the yarn through all 3 loops, skip 1 stitch, and into the next 3 we're gonna work. See? 4 loops, pull the yarn through all 4 loops, chain 2. You're gonna go on top of that where you close that, those 3 double crochets, unfinished ones, and you're gonna do 2 unfinished double crochets, and so on. Skip 1 stitch, and into the next 3 we're gonna work. So skip 1 and into the next, first unfinished double crochet, move to the next stitch, double crochet without finishing, and into the next stitch, double crochet. Where are you? Okay, 4 loops on the hook, pull the yarn through all 4 loops, chain 2. So on top of that line there we're gonna do 2 unfinished double crochet. 3 loops, pull the yarn through all 3 loops, and at the end here you're gonna have 2 stitches and the chain. So you're gonna skip the next stitch, and into the next stitch, double crochet, and into the top chain you also gonna do double crochets. So 1, and on top of that second chain you're gonna do a double crochet, and now you're gonna chain 2, turn your work, it's gonna look like this. Next stitch here, double crochet into that, chain 1, you skip this, all this, and you go to the stitch between these two, the 2 double crochet and the chain that we closed up the last row, and you're gonna do 3 double crochets, but this time you're gonna finish the double crochets. 2, and the third one, chain 1, skip, and go to the stitch, 3 double crochets, and this row is gonna be like this, and the next row you're gonna do double crochets in all these stitches, the cluster of 3 double crochets, and the space, because you chained 1, and in that 1 chain space you're gonna put 1 double crochet. Yeah, it looks complicated, but it's not. Well, for those of you that you're advanced, it might not look complicated. So at the end here we did the 3 double crochets, chain 1, and you see this between this cluster and the chain 2 we have in here, there are 2 loops in there. You're gonna have to grab them, and you're gonna do 2 double crochets, chain 2, and now you're gonna repeat the first row with a double crochet. Next stitch you're gonna put a double crochet in there, the space, 1 chain space here, double crochet, and then you have 1, 2, 3 in each. You're going to put double crochet, the space, you're going to put 1 double crochet, next the 3 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 3, and so on. Yeah. It's a very easy stitch, goes really fast. I think this one is nice to work with any yarn size that you want. So this is the stitch. It looks like this. So you can give it a try to this stitch and see if you like to do something with this, or it's too much trouble. 3 rows repeat. And the stitch is reversible. It's quite nice. So well, it's up to each of you if you like to work with this this stitch. Well, thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye bye.